Good evening, everyone. Today, we need to take up listening. Are you ready, everyone? So, we will be doing two tests today. Today, we'll be starting with book 10. And the most interesting questions in listening are from, can you guess? From New Zealand. The most difficult papers are set from Australia and New Zealand. I'm talking about listening. So accent, as far as Australian accent and New Zealand accent are concerned, they are difficult to grasp. All right, so we'll be doing Australian and New Zealand accent. Which accent are we doing today? Anyone?
Australian and New Zealand.
Australian and New Zealand accent. So we are going to refer the most interesting and difficult book, that is book 10. Right, everyone? This book is very important from the exam point of view.
Test 2. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a man interviewing a woman in the street about her use of transport. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Yeah, is this audible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So please write the answers on a piece of paper, that is questions 1 to 40, because we'll be playing all the sections simultaneously. So this is a quiz on listening skills.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Excuse me,
Yes?
I wonder if you could spare a few minutes to do a survey on transport. It won't take long.
No, that's fine.
Oh, lovely. The survey is on behalf of the local council. They'd like to know about what transport you use and any suggestions for improvement. Can I start by asking you how you travelled to town today?
Sure, I came on the bus.
The woman travelled to town by bus, so bus has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Excuse me,
Yes?
I wonder if you could spare a few minutes to do a survey on transport. It won't take long.
No, that's fine.
Oh, lovely. The survey is on behalf of the local council. They'd like to know about what transport you use and any suggestions for improvement. Can I start by asking you how you travelled to town today?
Sure, I came on the bus.
Great. Now, can I get a few details about yourself?
Okay.
What's your name?
It's Louisa
Yes.
Hardy.
Can you spell that, please?
Yes, it's Hardie.
Great, thanks. And can I have your address?
It's 19 Whitestone Road.
Oh, right, I know that area. It's Bradfield, isn't it?
That's right.
Is the postcode GT7?
It's actually GT8 2LC.
Great. And could I ask what your job is? Are you a student?
I've actually just finished my training. I'm a hairdresser.
Oh, right. And one more question in this section. What is the reason for you coming into town today?
Actually, it's not for shopping today, which would be my normal reason, but to see the dentist.
Right. Thanks.
Before you hear the rest of the interview, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, in this last section, I'd like you to give us some ideas about the facilities and arrangements in the city for getting to and from work. Any suggestions you have for improvements?
Well, something I've thought about for some time is that when I do walk and I'm doing a later shift, I think the lighting should be better.
Yes, good point.
And of course, I think it's a real shame they've been cutting down on the number of footpaths. They should have more of those. Then people would walk more.
Yes, right.
And I don't think there are enough trains. That's why I don't use them. You have to wait so long.
Thanks. And finally, I'd like to ask your opinion on cycling. As you may know, there's a drive in the city to get more people to cycle to work.
Right.
But we realise that there are things which the council, but also employers might do to help encourage workers to cycle to work.
Yeah. Well, I have thought about it, and where I work there are no safe places to leave your bikes.
OK.
And also, I'd have to cycle uphill, and on a hot day I'd arrive at work pretty sweaty, so I think I'd need a shower somewhere at work.
Right.
And I suppose the last thing is that I wouldn't be all that confident about cycling on such busy roads. I think I'd like to see you offering training for that. You know, I'd feel a lot better about starting if that was the case.
Well, that's very helpful. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Bye.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2.
You will decide which famous historical figure from the city we should have.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
From 11 to 15.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Yeah, just hold on.
Giving information about 2 new facilities which are opening soon in the city. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to say a little about two exciting new developments in the city: the Brackenside open-air swimming pool and the Children's Adventure Playground in Central Park. As many of you may know, the idea for these initiatives came from you, the public, in the extensive consultation exercise which the City Council conducted last year. And they have been realised using money from the SWRDC, the South West Regional Development Commission. First of all, Brackenside Pool. As many of the older members of the audience will remember, there used to be a wonderful open-air pool on the seafront 30 years ago, but it had to close when it was judged to be unsafe. For the design of this new heated pool, we were very happy to secure the talents of internationally renowned architect Ellen Wendon, who has managed to combine a charming 1930s design, which fits in so well with many of the other buildings in the area, with up-to-the-minute features such as a recycling system, the only one of its kind in the world, which enables seawater to be used in the pool. Now, there's been quite a bit of discussion in the local press about whether there would be enough room for the number of visitors we're hoping to attract, but the design is deceptive, and there have been rigorous checks about capacity. Also, just in case you were wondering, we're on schedule for a June the 15th opening date, and well within budget. A testimony to the excellent work of local contractors Hickman's. We hope that as many people as possible will be there on June the 15th. We have engaged award-winning actress Coral White to declare the pool open, and there'll be drinks and snacks available at the poolside. There'll also be a competition for the public to decide on the sculpture we plan to have at the entrance. You will decide which famous historical figure from the city we should have.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
And now, moving on to the Central Park Playground, which we're pleased to announce has just won the Douglas Award for Safety. The news came through only last week. The unique design is based on the concept of the global village, with the playground being divided into 6 areas showing different parts of the world, each with a representative feature. For example, there is a section on Asia, and this is represented by rides and equipment in the shape of snakes, orangutans, tigers and so on, fauna native to the forests of the region. Moving south to the Antarctic, we couldn't run to an ice rink, I'm afraid, but opted instead for climbing blocks in the shape of mountains. I thought they could have had slides for the glaciers, but the designers did want to avoid being too literal. Then on to South America. And here the theme is El Dorado, games replicating the search for mines full of precious stones. And then, moving up to North America, here there was considerable debate. I know the contribution of cinema and jazz was considered, but the designers finally opted for rockets and the International Space Station. Eastwards to Europe then, and perhaps the most traditional choice of all the areas, medieval castles and other fortifications. Then last but not least, moving south to Africa, and a whole set of wonderful mosaics and trails to represent the great rivers of this fascinating and varied continent. Now, the opening date for our global playground is the 10th of July, and again, we'd love to see you there. So, make a date and come and see this magnificent, original new amenity right in the heart of the city.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to Section 3.
Sometimes I wonder if he did that trip for...
Section 3. You will hear two anthropology students called Victor and Olivia discussing their joint presentation about a Norwegian explorer called Thor Heyerdahl. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Right, well, for our presentation, shall I start with the early life of Thor Heyerdahl?
Sure. Why don't you begin with describing the type of boy he was, especially his passion for collecting things?
That's right. He had his own little museum. And I think it's unusual for children to develop their own values and not join in their parents' hobbies. I'm thinking of how Heyerdahl wouldn't go hunting with his dad, for example.
Yeah, he preferred to learn about nature by listening to his mother read to him. And quite early on, he knew he wanted to become an explorer when he grew up. That came from his camping trips he went on in Norway, I think.
No, it was climbing that he spent his time on as a young man.
Oh, right. After university, he married a classmate, and together they decided to experience living on a small island to find out how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lifestyles.
As part of their preparation, before they left home, they learnt basic survival skills, like building a shelter. I guess they needed that knowledge in order to live wild in a remote location with few inhabitants, cut off by the sea.
Did you hear that dialogue? Can you repeat it? Amazing dialogue. Somebody, if I ask you in speaking test, how did you enjoy your summer vacation? Well, I went to an island where we could live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. You can just imagine that, right? Suppose you are going to one of the small islands near India, right? I wanted to live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea, right? Does that remind you of some place? Andaman Nicobar Islands. So amazing dialogues, amazing dialogues. You will not learn English from not only from reading the passages, but also listening. That will help you how you should speak as a 9-band speaker, right? Why people get 9-band in listening, they get 9-band in reading. Why Indian students do not get 9-band in speaking? It's rare. They do get, but it's rare. Got it? So when you listen, if you listen to something interesting, you must note it down. So there are two things they said. Live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. That sounds like an island, isn't it? What was another word? Harsh weather conditions. I wanted to know how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lives. Did you just hear that? Anyone? Theodore wanted to know how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lives. Beautiful dialogues in listening skill. Okay, let's continue. I just wanted to point you out the nice dialogues. I'll just play it back a bit so that you can listen to this again.
It was climbing,
Yeah, he
and I think it's unusual for children to develop their own values and not join in their parents' hobbies. I'm thinking of how Hayadal wouldn't go hunting with his dad, for example.
Yeah, he preferred to learn about nature by listening to his mother read to him. And quite early on, he knew he wanted to become an explorer when he grew up. That came from his camping trips he went on in Norway, I think.
No, it was climbing that he spent his time on as a young man.
Oh, right. After university, he married a classmate, and together they decided to experience living on a small island to find out how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lifestyles.
As part of their preparation, before they left home, they learnt basic survival skills, like building a shelter. I guess they needed that knowledge in order to live wild in a remote location with few inhabitants, cut off by the sea, which is what they were aiming to do.
An important part of your talk should be the radical theory Hayadal formed from examining mysterious ancient carvings that he happened to find on the island. I think you should finish with that.
Okay.
Which accent is this? Yes, Asha N. Is it Scottish? Is it Irish? Or is it Canadian, American, Australian, New Zealand, South African? Which one?
I think it's Australian.
You're close. Aditya, Harmanjeet Kaur,
Maybe
guess
Scottish.
Scottish. Okay. Himanshi,
So New Zealand.
correct. It's New Zealand accent. Yes. Suvidhi, do you agree?
Yes, sir. They tend to
Yes.
speak faster.
Yeah, and they've got a bit of Afro accent, isn't it? I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
these are not British whites. These are New Zealand, actual New Zealand. The natives of New Zealand, isn't it? They have a typical accent, right?
Yeah. They
Yes.
pronounce ESI,
Yes. Correct.
like
All
in
right.
terms of sound.
Right. All right. Let's continue.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30.
And this is, if you have seen the movie Thor, then this is the same person. The movie Thor is based on Thor Heyerdahl. Okay.
Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
All right, Victor, so after your part, I'll talk about Tor Heyerdahl's adult life. continuing from the theory he had about Polynesian migration. Up until that time, of course, academics had believed that humans first migrated to the islands in Polynesia from Asia in the west.
Yes, they thought that travel from the east was impossible because of the huge empty stretch of ocean that lies between the islands and the nearest inhabited land.
Yes, but Heyerdahl spent ages studying the cloud movements, ocean currents, and wind patterns to find if it was actually possible. And another argument was that there was no tradition of large shipbuilding in the communities lying to the east of Polynesia. But Heyerdahl knew they made lots of coastal voyages in locally built canoes.
Yes, or sailing on rafts, as was shown by the long voyage that Heyerdahl did next. It was an incredibly risky journey to undertake. Sometimes I wonder if he did that trip for private reasons, you know, to show others that he could have spectacular adventures. What do you think, Olivia?
Well, I think it was more a matter of simply trying out his idea, to see if migration from the east was possible.
Yes, that's probably it. And the poor guy suffered a bit at that time because the war forced him to stop his work for some years.
Yes. When he got started again and planned his epic voyage, do you think it was important to him that he achieve it before anyone else did?
I haven't read anywhere that that was his motivation. The most important factor seems to have been that he used only ancient techniques and local materials to build his raft.
Yes. I wonder how fast it went.
Well, it took them 97 days from South America to the Pacific Islands.
And after that, Heyerdahl went to Easter Island, didn't he? We should mention the purpose of that trip. I think he sailed there in a boat made out of reeds.
No, that was later on in Egypt, Olivia.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But what he wanted to do was talk to the local people about their old stone carvings and then make one himself to learn more about the process.
I see. Well, what a great life. Even though many of his theories have been disproven, he certainly left a lasting impression on many disciplines, didn't he? To my mind, he was the first person to establish what modern academics call practical archaeology. I mean that they try to recreate something from the past today, like he did with his raft trip. It's unfortunate that his ideas about where Polynesians originated from have been completely discredited.
Yes. Right, well, I'll prepare a PowerPoint slide at the end that acknowledges our sources. I mainly used The Life and Work of Tor Heyerdahl by William Oliver. I thought the research methods he used were very sound, although I must say I found the overall tone somewhat old-fashioned. I think they need to do a new, revised edition.
Yeah, I agree. What about the subject matter? I found it really challenging.
Well, it's a complex issue.
I thought the book had lots of good points. What did you think of the illustration?
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear a business student predicting how management might change in the next few years. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Well, I've been talking to managers in a number of businesses and reading surveys about the future of management. And what I'm going to present in this seminar is a few ideas about how the activity is likely to change in the next 10 years. It isn't a scientific statistical analysis, just some ideas for us to discuss. One area I want to mention is business markets, and I'm sure a really significant development will be a major increase in competition, with companies from all around the world trying to sell similar products. Consumers will have much more choice. For instance, food products sold in Australia might be manufactured in the USA, China, Finland, and dozens of other countries. At the same time, mergers and takeovers mean that governments are actually losing power to major global corporations. We can probably all think of companies that exert a great deal of influence, which may be good for consumers. A third point I want to make about markets is that in the rapidly expanding economies, such as India, China, Brazil, and Russia, demand is growing very fast. This is putting pressure on resources all over the world. I think businesses are becoming more open to external influences. In particular, companies are consulting customers more and more before making their business decisions. Companies are finding out what they want and providing it, instead of making products and then trying to sell them, which is the model of years ago. Another influence is that concerns about the environment will force manufacturers to extend product life cycles to reduce the amount of pollution and waste. And, in some cases, regulation will need to be strengthened. Many societies are much more fluid and democratic, and the structure of companies is changing to reflect that. I think we're going to see a greater emphasis within companies on teams created with a specific project in mind. And when they're completed, the teams will be disbanded and new ones formed. More and more people see work as simply one part of their lifestyle, and not the most important one. And as the workforce is shrinking in some countries, businesses are having to compete for staff instead of being able to choose among a lot of applicants. Typical examples that will attract and retain staff are traditional ones like flexible hours and, something that has been made possible by advances in technology, remote working, with people based at their home, abroad, or almost anywhere they choose. Management styles will almost certainly continue to change. Senior managers will require a lot more than the efficiency that they've always needed. Above all, they'll need great skills in leadership, so that their organization can initiate and respond to change in a fast-moving world where they face lots of competing requirements and potential conflicts. In most of the world, the senior managers of large businesses are mainly men in their 50s and 60s. The predominant style of management will almost certainly become more consultative and collaborative, caused, above all, by more women moving into senior management positions. Many of the changes are influenced by developments in the wider economy. The traditional emphasis of business was manufacturing, and of course the service sector is very important. But we shouldn't overlook the growing financial contribution of IP, that is, intellectual property. Some books and films generate enormous sums from the sale of related DVDs, music, games, clothes, and so on. Another point I'd like to make is that although I've been talking about companies, one trend that they have to face is the move away from people working for the same employer for years. Instead, more and more people are becoming self-employed to gain the freedom and control over their lives that they're unlikely to get from being employed. Okay, well, that's all I want to say, so let's open it up for discussion.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test.
Yes, this was one of the tests of Book 10. Yes. Transport survey, question 1. What is the answer?
Yeah.
Hardy. Hardie. Hardy. Question number 2.
19.
Yeah, please correct your answers and let me know how many marks you get. Okay, everyone? I want to know your marks. Question number 3.
GT8
T8TLC.
GT8 2LC, right?
Nice.
Yes.
Question number 4.
Hairdresser.
Hairdresser.
Spell it.
HAIRDRESSER.
Correct. Question number 5.
Dentist.
Here, both were allowed, dentist or dentists. Got it? Question number 6.
Lighting.
Lighting. Question number 7.
Trains.
Trains. Question number 8.
Safe.
Safe.
Safe. Correct. Question number 9.
Shower.
Shower. Question number 10. Training. Correct. Question number 11.
A.
Local people, because they said you, the public, right? Question number 12.
C.
Why? Because there was a recycling, it's a recycling water treatment plant. So what is a water treatment plant in desert called? They've got water treatment plants in Dubai. Why do they need it? What is basically the function of a water treatment plant in a place like Dubai? It is the desalination plant, right somewhere. Because they don't have water in the cities. They take seawater, process it, and then that is made palatable. Got it, everyone? So what do? They take out the salt in seawater, and it is called desalination plant.
Sir, it's pronounced as desalination or desalination.
Desalination.
Thank you, sir.
Question 13. Right. The size of facilities. Because they talked about capacity, right? Question number
Yes.
14.
Yes, sir.
A.
A. Question number 15.
E.
Yes. Why was it E, you tell me? Because it talked about they talked about snakes and orangutans. You should have taken notes. So snakes and orangutans means local animals. Question number 16.
F.
F. What did they talk about?
Mountains.
No, they talked about climbing blocks. So because climbing blocks are synonym to mountains. Got it? So it'll be F. Question number 17. What did they talk about? They talked about
Stone.
precious stones, El
Precious stones.
Dorado. So what are precious stones, El Dorado? They mean
Wells. D.
jewels. D. Question number 18. What did they talk about?
Rockets.
Space
Rockets,
travel, I think.
correct. So rockets means space
Space
travel.
travel.
H. Europe, what did they talk about?
A.
Fortification.
No, they talked about,
Castle.
yes, you're right, fortification in the form of medieval castles. So what are medieval castles? They
Ancient.
are ancient forts. Got it? See, look at the synonyms. This is where you learn. Medieval, ancient. Forts, castles. This is your learning actually. This is synonyms. Question 20. What did they talk about? See, you didn't write it. Rivers, mosaics, and trails. Now, this is where you get the hint. Mosaic means what? 20 years back or 15 years back, before tiles were available, in India, the people who are rich, they used to do their kitchen with mosaics. They were huge uh, blocks of shiny stones. Where do you find mosaics? At the bottom of the river. So they used to scrape the bottom of the river, and because of years and years of water flow, they become very smooth. And there's a lot of uh, that typical silt is deposited, which is turning into stone and very shiny stone called mosaics. So mosaics are found at the bottom of the rivers. That's why the answer is waterways. Got it? Now, the most interesting question. This was the most interesting one. Thor Heyerdahl. Many students during this attempt, they could not solve this. Not all of it, right? But we have to get 100% marks. 100 out of 100. Which two hobbies was Thor Heyerdahl very interested in as a youth?
B and C.
Collecting and
Climbing and
climbing.
collecting.
Correct.
B and C.
Climbing
Camping
and
and collecting.
collecting. Very good. Climbing and
Climbing.
collecting. Would he go hunting with his father?
No.
No.
He would
No.
rather listen to his mother read, right? All right. Now, question number 23 and 24. The two dialogues I made you listen to were the answers.
B and E, sir.
B and D.
A and E.
Mhm. Now, to do this question was a bit tricky. Just look at me, right? There are three different options of things to do. Thydal learned some things before going to the island, right?
Survival skills.
Yeah, is that answer? No,
No.
is
No.
that things we did before going to the island? Could they be the reasons for going there? No, because he already did it. Next, things which he did not know and found out after reaching the island, can they be the answer?
No.
No. So if you subtract all the options from that, things which he learned before going to the island and things which he came to know after visiting the island, then what is remaining is the reasons for going to the island. Do you agree? So let's categorize all the A, B, C, D, E into these three categories. Things he learned before going there things he came to know after reaching there, and reasons for going. Let's start with A. To examine ancient carvings. Did he know that there were ancient carvings before going there?
No, sir.
No. He came to know after reaching the island. So can that be the answer? No. B. Give me the dialogue. To live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. That was the hint. What does that mean? This whole dialogue. To live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. What does that mean? Isolated place. Remote location means what? Isolated place. So what is the answer? To experience an isolated place. That is one of the answers. Now let's examine C. To formulate a new theory. Was that a reason? Yes, was that a reason, or did he come to know only after reaching there? That he came to know after reaching there. I'll play the audio again, don't worry. So to formulate a new theory was not his aim. When he reached there, he saw, oh my God, there are so many new things, so many different things, ancient carvings, this and that. So he said, now I'm going to formulate a theory. So that couldn't be the reason. D, to learn survival skills. Is that a reason to go there?
No, sir.
What happened? Survival skills were learned by him before
Before
even thinking about going there. So these were already done by him before going. So that can't be the reason. E, to study the impact of extreme environment. What was the dialogue? To find out how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lives. So please write these two dialogues. For B, write the dialogue. To live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. That was the hint. Are you writing? In front of B, write to live wild in a remote location with a few inhabitants cut off by the sea. That means isolated place. And for E, what was the evidence? This is the evidence which I actually want you to learn. The evidence for E is to find out how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lives. To find out how harsh weather conditions shaped people's lives. Beautiful dialogue, remember it. And this means to study the impact of extreme environment. Extreme environment means harsh weather conditions. So what is the synonym of extreme? Yes?
Harsh.
Harsh. Very good. So just look at New Zealand English. Amazing, don't you think so? And that also New Zealand locals. This particular paper was actually because we learned this in training. The trainer who comes from Australia, he said, you know what? We Australians are good, but New Zealand people are even better in drafting research and question papers. Got it? So this particular question paper, the section 3 has actually been researched in New Zealand. Next, few questions are even more interesting. I'm sure you found it, right? The latter life of Thor Heyerdahl. Can you imagine crossing the Pacific Ocean from South America to Pacific Islands? Can you even imagine this? Do you know many ships have big ships Do you know about Bermuda Triangle? Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah, that is one of the areas that you cross when you come from South America to Pacific Islands. It's even dangerous when you're traveling in big ships, because even big ships they drown. And Thor Heyerdahl traveled on a raft. Just imagine it, right? That's why he made history. So now this question, right? According to Victor and Olivia, academics thought that Polynesian migration from the east was impossible. Do you know that Pacific Islands is, a bit close to Asian continent? Do you know about this? So then what would be the criteria that they would have rather come from the west rather than from the east? Do you understand this? East means what? South America. Means you have to, the whole span of Pacific Ocean is there on the east of Pacific Islands. Did you get it? So people naturally will think that it's impossible that somebody will cross the Pacific Ocean to find Pacific Islands. But they were wrong. Have you understood? So where did Thayerdahl come from? From the east. From South America, he went to Pacific Islands instead of going from Australia to that place. Do you get it? So why people thought this? Because of the huge stretch of ocean. What will be the answer? It's very simple.
C.
I just told you. How can it be C? It'll be
A.
A. A. It'll be A. People thought this, but people were wrong. See, according to Victor and Olivia, academics thought that Polynesian migration from the east was impossible. Why was it impossible? Because the eastern countries were far away and there was a huge stretch of empty ocean. They didn't say this. In the audio, they never said the fact that eastern countries were far away, but they said there was a huge stretch of empty ocean. That's why you need to write down. Did anybody write down this?
Empty land as well, I guess.
Yes. Huge stretch of empty ocean. Do you want to listen to it? Whether it's empty land or not? Good question. That was section 3 here. The coding is a bit different. Let
I
me
think
check.
mainly it was empty ocean, but then later on they said something about the land as well.
Let's check.
Section 3. You will hear two anthropology students called Victor and Liv.
All right, Victor, so after your part, I'll talk about Thor Heyerdahl's adult life, continuing from the theory he had about Polynesian migration. Up until that time, of course, academics had believed that humans first migrated to the islands in Polynesia from Asia in the west.
Did you get it? What's in the west? Asia. What's in the east? Huge, huge stretch of Pacific Ocean. All right?
Yes, they thought that travel from the east was impossible because of the huge empty stretch of ocean that lies between the islands and the nearest inhabited land.
Yeah. Nearest inhabited land. But that's not. That is the nearest inhabited land was Australia. Don't you think so? From New Zealand to Australia. If you are a citizen of New Zealand, you are a citizen of Australia. Did you know that? Means you get a pass. There's no, if you want to go from New Zealand to Australia, you don't need passports. Did you know this? So
Yes, sir.
if you get entry to New Zealand, You are getting a free ticket to Australia anyway. So, what did he say? Huge stretch of empty ocean, and you are right. They said something about land, right? So the answer is, what's the answer?
A.
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 A. Next, which do the speakers agree was the main reason for Heyerdahl's raft journey? To overcome a research, to demonstrate a personal quality, or to test a new theory?
C.
C.
See, look at it. These guys are so silly that the first few questions there was a hint about testing a new theory, and that is again the same background is continued here. It may not happen all the time, but in this case it did. So, what was the reason for Heyerdahl's raft journey? To test a new theory. Question number 27. What was most important to Heyerdahl about his raft journey? And remember that he was a crazy guy. So,
C. So
yeah,
C part.
just imagine. He didn't use modern ways, he used ancient techniques. What did he use? Ancient techniques, local material to build his raft. Do you know what a raft is? It's not a canoe, it's not a ship, it's a plain sort of thing. That is the raft. If we probably even cross a lake on a raft, we might fall off the raft because there are no edges, right? There is no support at the edge. So, what is the answer for 27? C. To build his raft with ancient material means to use authentic construction method. Did you get it? So you must know that ancient technique means authentic method. Please write that. Ancient technique, authentic method. Question 28. Why did Heyerdahl go to Easter Island?
A.
A.
Yes. Haven't you ever seen what's there in Easter Island? There are thousands and thousands of huge rocks, huge rocks, as big as buildings, and some as big as around 10 feet, weighing tons and tons. And they have just, they didn't remove it. They have kept it as a, you know, show of their, the past. And every rock was properly carved and, properly painted, designed years ago. So, what were they good at in Easter Island? Even today, people they travel to Easter Island to see these individual rocks. Anyway, why did Heyerdahl go to Easter Island? To build a stone statue because they were experts in it. Question 29. This is a very, very important question. In Olivia's opinion, Heyerdahl's greatest influence was on
B.
B. Some people may think that it is C. Why? Because they talked about archaeology and he was pursuing academics. But in this case, they talked about practical archaeology. In the audio, it was mentioned practical archaeology. So, what is practical archaeology? It is explained. Practical archaeology is actually operation workout. What is operation workout? Whatever you study in theory, this is also used in practical sense. So operation workout means archaeological methodology. This term operation workout actually was devised in BITS Pilani Management School. That is the one of the best in India, BITS Pilani, the original one. So they talked about methodology. So if you look in the dictionary, you will not find it. But if you look at the research work done in management schools, you'll find that practical archaeology is actually archaeological methodology. So please write somewhere that archaeological methodology means practical. And what practical? Practical archaeology. This is option B. What about 30? That was easy. Criticisms to the speakers make of William Oliver's textbook that it was very old-fashioned. A. All right. Yes. The future of management. What was the answer to question 31?
Competition.
Competition. Correct. Competition. Question 32. Increase in power of large, which type of companies?
Global.
Global. Correct. Rising
Demand.
demand. Rising demand. Question 34. More discussions with
Customers.
customers. Right? Environmental concerns which may lead to more
Pollution.
regulations. Environmental concerns which may lead to more regulations. Because you know what they said? He said extend product life cycle. What does that mean? Is that good or bad? If you extend the product life cycle, is that good or bad for the industry? Of course, it's good for the industry to extend product life cycle. Why? People will get better products. Did you get it? So what is the answer to 35? Regulations. Now let's talk about business structures. What is answer to question 36?
Project.
Project. Correct. Business may need to offer hours that are flexible. Now management styles. Okay. Increasing need for managers to provide good leadership. And who were who were the influencers? Women, right? Woman or women? Which answer?
Women.
Women. Okay. Yeah, if it is a one lady, it is called woman, and many, it is women. All right. All right, next. Question 40.
Self-employed.
Yes, because remember I told you, what did I tell you about? Intellectual property rights, right? What are the intellectual properties? Can you just revise? Number one, I told you about 4 intellectual properties. Do you remember? What is the first one? Patents. Please write it down somewhere because almost every attempt there is a question on intellectual property right. You must know that there are 4 of them. What is the first one?
Patents, trademarks,
Patents.
copyrights.
Patents. Next is copyrights. Third one,
Trademarks.
trademarks. And the last one,
Know-how.
know-how. Got it? So what is the answer to question number 40? Self-employed.
Self-employed.
Yes, self-employed. Very good. Now, what I noticed in some of the essays that I read, which you have sent, right? Have all of you sent the mock test writing task? All of you have not sent. Some of you have sent. So the ones I went through, I found that there are a lot of grammatical inaccuracies. Do you agree with me? Did you pay attention to grammatical range and accuracy? Be fair to yourself. Are you perfect in grammatical range and accuracy? Anyone? So do you think you should work on it? Is it important for IELTS? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Obviously it is. And more so now, because in training they said that grammar is going to play a very important role in assessing what will be the band score of the students. Yes. More so now than ever before. Got it, everyone? Just a moment. So, can you tell me what are the different types of compound sentences? How you can make a compound sentence? What is the definition of compound sentence? Anyone? We have to revise this.
Using linkers.
Correct. One way. I want in detail. Yeah, tell me in detail. Yes. Yeah, let's talk about it. What? Give me as if you are teaching me. What is a compound sentence? Teach us compound sentence. Anyone? Like I taught you. Why? Because you have not used it. Did you use the concepts which we learned in grammar? You did not. So we need to discuss this. Yes. Uh, I want you to practice this again by yourself. We'll have a quiz tomorrow on grammar. Okay. Why? Because we have not done justice to that. Do you agree? Has everybody spent a lot of time in learning grammar? Or have you revised whatever I given you? Yes. Did you really revise? Let's start from beginning. Everyone. What is a simple sentence? Anyone? Quickly. Yeah, read whatever I've given. What should a simple sentence have? Yeah, it's given here. Are you able to see this? What is a simple sentence? Karthik. Amen.
Sir,
Read
it
what I've.
must a
It must
simple a simple sentence must have subject, predicate, complete thought.
thought. Correct. Very good. Now let's go down. This is exactly what I taught you. Now read the what are compound sentences, Karthik?
A compound sentence must have at least two independent clauses, and the two clauses must be joined together by using at least one of the following methods. Method 1, by using coordinating conjunctions. Example,
Means fanboys.
fanboys, for and, nor, but, or, yes. So, formula, comma plus fanboys.
Very
Method
good.
2, by using conjunctive adverb. Moreover, however, therefore, plus conjunctive adverb.
Means
Method
that's
3, by
the
using
formula. That is the formula. So in
yes,
coordinating conjunction, the formula is comma plus fanboys. But in method 2, it is semicolon plus fanboys. Is
okay,
it?
sir.
It is semicolon
Yes.
plus conjunctive adverb. Means semicolon plus moreover, semicolon plus however, semicolon plus therefore, and so on. What is method 3?
By using only semicolon.
Yes. All right. Then I think many of you did the homework. Now tell me how conjunctive adverb is used. What is the floating conjunctive adverb? Anyone? Give examples. Yes, what is an example of floating conjunctive adverb? Can you please do it first? Give us an example of floating conjunctive adverb. There are three types. Do you remember this? What are the three types of floating conjunctive adverb? This will definitely give you, if you want band 7.5 and 8, then only this concerns you. If you're not interested in getting a good band score, probably this may not interest you. So there are T types. Do you remember? Type 1. Type 1 example of floating conjunctive adverb. Let's take a very simple example. Arjun is rich. Then I asked you, do you want to meet him? And most of you said no. So Arjun is rich. Moreover, he is handsome or he is ethical. There are few people who are handsome and ethical. Now, this is called type 1. If you write this, you probably get a band 6.5. How much you'll get? I'm just giving an example. You may get band 6.5. Why? What is the concept behind this? The concept behind this is called introductory element based example. What is this called? Introductory element. Right? And then what you need to do is you need to make it float. So then I taught you that you need to make it float. What is float. Why you make it float? Because you want to get more marks. So now you come to type 2. Type 2 is better than type 1. So basically, what do you have in type 2? Again, the same sentence. Arjun is rich. Semicolon. Now you don't put moreover there. You say he is, comma, moreover, comma, ethical. How many marks do you get for this format? Band 7. Why? Anyone? Why the previous format will give you less marks than this format? Anyone? What is this called? Yes, anyone. What is this called? The position. Type 2. I have taught you. What is this called? Anyone?
Interrupter.
Yes, Karan. You're right. It is called interrupter. If you think that, oh no, this is not my interest, I don't want to know this, then just blindfold yourself and put here, I don't want to know this because I don't care. Okay, fine. You don't want to know this. It's okay. But if you know this, then you are smarter than others. Why? Language proficiency means knowing where to use the word, whether in the middle or the end or in the beginning of the sentence. Positioning the word is very important because it changes the stress on that particular idea. So when you say Arjun is rich, moreover, he is ethical, there's a stress A. But when you say Arjun is rich, he is moreover ethical, you change the stress and you get more marks. Because this is a bit more upward in frequency. Did you get it? I, as an examiner, will notice this. Oh, he has used this as an interrupter. Means he has an idea of interrupters. So that's why you get more marks. Why do you get more marks? Because you are showing the examiner how you can play with the words. The more you can play with the words and keep the meaning almost same, you get more marks. So what do you do here? Float. Again, why? You want to be better. So how will you improve? Now use type 3. What is this type 3? Well, this is a type 3 compound sentence made by use of conjunctive adverb. That's what it is. Again, let's write Arjun is rich, semicolon. Now, how do you get type 3? Anyone? Who will tell me? What do you have to do? You have to push the word moreover to the end of the sentence. So what do you get? He is ethical. Again, how do you read this? Arjun is rich. He is ethical. Moreover, attitude. Yes, there is an attitude in this. So you get more marks, not because of attitude, because it's different. And it is a rare format. Of course, it is not rare if you're in Washington, D.C. or you're in Houston, Texas. It is a bit rare if you are in India. We don't speak like this. Arjun is rich. He is ethical. Moreover. So there is a stress which is slightly skewed in this. So what do you get? You get more marks. What concept have you used? Anyone? So what is the concept you are using here with conjunctive adverb? So you're using the concept concluding element. This is the concept you used. So what are floating conjunctive adverbs? Why do you want to make conjunctive adverbs float? To get better marks. So type 1, Arjun is rich. Moreover, he is ethical. This is basic introductory element. Now make it float towards the right. What do you get? Type 2, Arjun is rich. He is moreover ethical. You get slightly more marks because this is rare construction. Again, make it float to the right. What do you get? Type 3. Arjun is rich. He is ethical. Moreover. Again, this is having maximum amount of attitude and special as far as its stress is concerned, and it is called concluding element. So you move from introductory element, place the word as an interrupter, you improve your situation. Pick up the word from interrupter, put it in the concluding element, you get more marks. So please don't waste time looking up in the internet how to get more marks. Practice this. So thank you everyone for your wonderful cooperation and understanding. We'll see you in the next class. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Try to implement what I usually tell you, right? This will help you. Not only in IELTS, but in any drafting that you do in the future. You'll be more and more effective.